Hollywood in the 1960s and 70s was full of stars who were famous not just for their acting but also for their bold fashion choices. One of these stars was Ann-Margret, a name that still sparks curiosity. There is something unusual about her old photos. Some of her bikini pictures have surprised people because they are more daring than most expect, even for adults. In this video, we are going to talk about Ann-Margret's controversial bikini photos, why people are talking about them even now, and what makes them so unusual compared to other stars of her time. And trust me, you will want to see how her style caused a lot of discussions in Hollywood back then. Ann-Margret was born in Sweden in 1941, but she became a big star in Hollywood during the 1960s. She acted in many movies, sang on television shows, and became one of the most famous women of her era. Her style was different, playful, and sometimes bold. It was not just her acting that made her popular. Her pictures in magazines often made people talk. Ann-Margret wore bikinis in many of her photo shoots. Unlike today's swimsuit pictures, which are common in magazines and social media, these photos were considered very daring at the time. Some of her outfits were so revealing that even adults felt they were pushing limits for what could be shown publicly. She had a way of posing that was fun and playful, but it also made her look very bold. Some of these images were even pulled from magazines or edited later because they caused too much attention. Back then, bikinis were already controversial. In the 1960s, showing a lot of skin in public photos was not normal. Most Hollywood stars wore modest swimsuits, and revealing pictures could affect a star's career. Ann-Margret, however, did not follow the rules. Her pictures were bright, colorful, and often taken on beaches or by swimming pools. But some poses, the way she held herself, and the camera angles made adults feel uncomfortable. That is why these images are still discussed today. People often ask why Ann-Margret chose to do these photos. Some say it was her confidence and her wish to show she was different. Others think it was a way to get more attention in Hollywood, which was a very competitive place. Whatever the reason, she did make a mark. Even now, when people search for her pictures, these bikini photos are among the first that come up. An interesting point is that while these pictures shocked many adults, Ann-Margret herself always said she wanted to look stylish, playful, and fun and not offensive. Her fans saw her as confident, charming, and full of energy. Another reason these photos are talked about is because of how rare they are. Unlike today, stars did not post everything online. Photos were taken by professional photographers, printed in magazines, and shared carefully. So each picture carried weight. When a bold bikini picture appeared in a magazine, it caused discussion in Hollywood and among the public. Ann-Margret's picture stood out because she was not just wearing a swimsuit. Her expressions, poses, and hair made the photos unforgettable. People remember them even decades later. Her career was not just about bikinis. She acted in many popular movies, performed on stage, and sang songs that became hits. But these photos show another side of her personality. Fearless, playful, and willing to take risks. Some adults thought these risks were too much, but many fans loved them. It was a different time, and Ann-Margret helped change how women in Hollywood could express themselves in public. Today, when people look back at her photos, they see history. They see a star who did not always follow strict rules. Some images are considered inappropriate even by modern standards for adults, but they are part of her story. These pictures remind us that Hollywood was full of bold choices, and Ann-Margret was one of the first to push boundaries in a way that people still remember. Ann-Margret's bikini photos are more than just pictures. They are part of a story about courage, fashion, and a time when Hollywood was very different from now. Some people may feel shocked, some amazed, but everyone agrees that she left a mark. Her photos may have been inappropriate for some adults, but they also show a star who wanted to be herself, regardless of what others thought. That is why, even decades later, people still search for her name and her pictures. So the next time you hear about old Hollywood photos, remember Ann-Margret. Her bikinis were more than a swimsuit. They were a statement. A statement that Hollywood stars could be daring, playful, and unforgettable, even in a world that often wanted them to be quiet and safe. Thanks for watching this look at Ann-Margret's most talked about pictures. If you enjoyed this story about a Hollywood star who was not afraid to break the rules, stay tuned for more stories from classic Hollywood history.